Begin with chapter number 8 from your economics book of grade 9, and the name of the chapter is Indian Economy Tertiary Sector. So already we have came across the primary sector, the secondary sector, and in this chapter we are going to learn about the tertiary sector. So the tertiary sector or the service sector or the third sector of an economy is concerned with providing support services to primary and secondary sectors. And these services include, or this support include, transport and communication, banking, insurance, warehouses, advertisement, education and training, healthcare, etc. Okay, for you can say over past few years, this sector has grown at the fast rate, and it is now contributing about 53% of India's GDP, that is gross domestic product. So the World Bank has considered this growth pattern and the service led growth and has termed as the service revolution. Okay, they have termed this as service revolution. So let's find out what is the tertiary sector or the role of tertiary sector in Indian economy. So the service or the tertiary sector or the third sector of the Indian economy includes the service activities such as trade, hotels and restaurants, transports, you can say storage and communication, banking and insurance, real estate, and business services. And you can say community, social, and personal services also. Okay, such as public administration and defense services are also included in this. So you can see there is a pie chart given where we are finding that there is a primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. And you can see the contribution of tertiary sector at present in India. This is the India's GDP they are showing here. The grey part they're saying as 18.5% is the primary sector contribution in GDP. The black portion they're saying 28.3% is the secondary sector's contribution towards India's GDP. And the pink portion, that is more than the half of the circle, that is 53.2%, is saying about the tertiary sector's contribution in GDP. With the expansion of trade and commerce during the last few decades in the domestic economy, the contribution of the territory, or you can say the contribution of the tertiary sector or the service sector, has also been increasing in our country. This sector contributes the highest towards the national income of India at present 2015 and 16, and this is about 53% of India's national income. In 1950 and 51, the contribution of the tertiary sector towards Indian national income was only to the extent of 25%. So now it have got increased, as you can understand. Next come what is the education sector in India. The education sector, this is also included in the tertiary sector itself. Okay, the education sector is supported or supposed to be one of the most important segments of the India's tertiary sector. It comprises of education services provided by the schools, colleges, university, research and development institution, the teachers, the principals, and so on. It is believed that the people of a country can be made more knowledgeable, skillful, and productive through better education and training facilities. Thus, formation of human capital. Okay, that is through education and skilled people. So, this human capital depends to a great extent upon the expenditure made, particularly by the government, towards the expansion of education service in the country. So, in Indian economy, we find that the education sector has also received a due importance in the last few decades. The social infrastructure of the country includes the sectors like education, health, housing, etc. Right. So, what is the importance of education services, or you can say education service in India? First and foremost, is it helps in improving the knowledge and consciousness of the common people, which will try to, you can say, eradicate the social oppression or the social evils from the common people. Second is reducing gender oriented discrimination. Male and female discrimination will be reduced, right? Next, reducing of infant mortality rate. That is whenever we find that the adequate expansion of the educational facilities among the female population of any society can reduce the infant mortality rate and even the birth rate. Okay, so creating better income earning capabilities. Next, we are having the, we can say that initiating people to participate in developing activities like becoming the member of the panchayats or the block samitis and so on, improving the quality of human resources. Okay, next we're having what are the steps the for government for expanding the education sector in India have undertaken. First is DPEP. What is DPEP? District Primary Education Program. So DPEP is a special thirst of achieved, you can say universally, or you can say this is an elementary education, the basic education or the primary education. Okay, the program takes the view of the primary education development and seeks, or you can say, and gives out specific planning how to impart or how to give the primary education to all. Non-formal education program. Non-formal education means where we are finding that it is not a formal one. Maybe they are not of a age of studying, or they are not having any formal building and formal curriculum syllabus. They are coming to school. Okay, maybe the school will be running for the elderly person, those who doesn't know to write their name, those who doesn't know how to write their address. Okay, they are coming to school. Their age is not between 14 or 16, they are above that, maybe 30, 35, 50. They are coming to school to learn how to write their name, how to write their address. That is a non-formal education. The syllabus will be different. Okay, and it is not compulsory also. National program for nutritional support to primary education. That is, we find this that through this is done as a nutritional support, because as we find that the poor people are not getting sufficient nutrition and they cannot feed their child. For that, this program have been launched, and here we find that midday meal scheme have been launched in every government school so that the poor children get sufficient nutrition. Okay, next we're having the women's education. The national policy for education and a document made a strong commitment to a well convinced age in favor of women. Okay, so for women also they are making some different kind of programs. Next we are having vocational education. Vocational education means this education is not for permanent one, not for 1 year or like that something. This is having less seats, and it is always based upon the skill development. Something will be taught in a very short period like 6 months, and or maybe 8 months, or maybe highest is 1 year. Okay, so this is a vocational education, that is for a particular something is getting taught here. It is a skill development education. Next we are having computer literacy and studies in school. With the collaboration, we know that the government have now introduced computer education as must in the government schools also. Establishment of national open schools. Open schools means from anywhere you can study. You need not go to school every day, and during the examination or submission of the project, that time you go to the school and give your exam, submit your projects. Okay, regularly you're not going, maybe weekly once or weekly twice or maybe monthly once, according to their scheme they will be calling. Next, we are having establishment of National Council of Education Research and Training, NCERT, expansion of higher education, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan is getting universal elementary education for everybody, those who are in the age of 6 to 14. They have to get compulsory education. Next, we are having constitutional amendment in the 93rd Amendment of the Indian Constitution was passed in the Lok Sabha on November 28, 2001, and to mark the right to free and compulsory education for the children of the age group between 6 to 14 years, a fundamental right. Hopefully you understood. Thank you.